You ever wonder what happens when you mix hot lava and chicken? Ho-ho, in one wild weekend. A Minecraft movie in the United States raked in more money than Snow White did globally over 3 weekends. Meanwhile, Rachel Zegler's role in a live-action Snow White project was supposed to be her crowning achievement, a chance to merge star power with Disney's classic legacy. But as soon as rumors of significant changes began to swirl, public opinion shifted dramatically. Soon after, Zegler inexplicably started posting images of herself alone in an empty theater for her own movie, fueling the notion that all was not well behind the scenes.
A bold new reimagining of Disney's very first feature film, updated to reflect modern values while preserving the timeless spirit that had made it iconic. From the moment Rachel Zegler was cast, excitement buzzed. Here was fresh talent, youthful charisma, the perfect princess to bridge generations. But almost immediately, the project started to wobble. Rumors swirled about drastic changes to the story. No prince, no traditional dwarfs, an overbearing message where once there had been whimsy. Public opinion shifted before the first frame even hit the screen. And while Disney's usual PR machine whirred into action, trying to recapture the narrative, the undercurrent of unease only grew stronger. Rachel, perhaps sensing the storm, did not retreat. Instead, she leaned in. She defended the changes. She dismissed critics.
The situation escalated when rumors emerged that Jack Black confronted Zegler over production issues and her increasingly fervent defense of the project. According to widespread whispers, this altercation may have triggered an emotional breakdown on her part, a breakdown that symbolizes the intense pressure and scrutiny facing the film. As the narrative of this modern fairy tale adaptation unfolded, what started as a high expectation, Disney remake devolved into a public battle over misguided creative decisions, test screenings gone awry, and accusations that Disney's new approach to revitalizing its classics had completely lost its way.
And in doing so, she unknowingly stoked the very fire that would eventually consume the film's reputation. While Minecraft, a movie many had laughed off as a novelty, exploded into a box office juggernaut, Snow White struggled even to fill seats. The uncomfortable truth was becoming harder and harder to ignore. Then came the whispers. Jack Black, beloved by fans for his irreverence and honesty, allegedly confronted Zegler. The details vary depending on the source. Some say it happened at a press event, others that it was a private conversation overheard by crew. But the story is always the same at its heart. Jack Black challenging Rachel, questioning the way she handled the backlash, wondering aloud if dismissing fans was really the right move. According to witnesses, the confrontation wasn't hostile, but it was direct. And Rachel,
before any confrontation between Jack Black and Zegler was even confirmed, audiences were already voicing strong criticism of the Snow White project. Die-hard Disney fans who once welcomed every remake, sequel, or spin-off began to express unease over a version of the story that had taken a sharp, unexpected detour. Critics decried heavy-handed messaging, abrupt scene transitions, and an uneven pace that left the narrative feeling disjointed. While some dismissed these early complaints as typical internet cynicism, many believed that the project's inherent structural flaws could not be saved by any amount of post-production edits. The resulting discourse only intensified when the rumored incident between Black and Zegler became part of the conversation, further muddying the film's already troubled identity.
Fueled not by controversy, but by pure, simple storytelling. No heavy-handed lectures. No reimagining a beloved legacy beyond recognition. Just fun, adventure, magic. Exactly what audiences had been craving, and exactly what Snow White failed to deliver. As Snow White slipped further at the box office, Disney executives scrambled. Bob Iger took to public channels, insisting that the film was misunderstood, that Disney was only trying to speak to a new generation. Rachel echoed the sentiment. But the audience wasn't buying it anymore. Test screenings had already revealed deep cracks in the foundation. An uneven pace. Scenes stitched together awkwardly after last-minute reshoots. A tone that swung wildly from heavy to hollow. What should have been a love letter to fairy tales had become a disjointed lecture.
The controversy quickly spilled over from boardrooms and test screenings into the broader public arena. Reporters noted that a dramatic confrontation, possibly between Jack Black, known for his comedic verve and thoughtful take on pop culture, and Zegler, whose emotional response was captured in leaked reports, might have been the tipping point in a production already riddled with tension. Some insiders speculated that reshoots and last-minute edits had created jarring tonal shifts in the final cut. Others pointed to the pervasive pressure from social media, with fans and critics alike vocalizing their disappointment in a film that could have revitalized a beloved classic, but instead seemed to be struggling under the weight of modern expectations. The so-called meltdown rumor, whether real or exaggerated, came to symbolize the internal chaos and creative discord that threatened to undermine the entire project.
You ever wonder what happens when you mix hot lava and chicken?
Minecraft in the United States in one weekend made more money than Snow White has made globally.
Rachel Zegler then inexplicably continued to post herself in an empty theater for her.
There was a time when a Disney remake guaranteed magic. A time when audiences lined up, no questions asked, trusting the studio that had given the world dreams on celluloid. But now, that magic feels fragile, fractured. And at the center of the latest storm stands Rachel Zegler, once hailed as a rising star, now trapped under the weight of a movie that was supposed to be her crowning achievement, but instead threatens to become her most public undoing. The live-action Snow White remake was supposed to be a triumph.
As the box office numbers rolled in, the contrast became stark. The Minecraft movie smashed records with a $300 million global opening, while Snow White struggled to gain traction. This disparity was seen by some as evidence that the controversy and the alleged meltdown had a tangible impact on audience reception. Critics argued that the ongoing debates over creative direction, heavy-handed themes, and narrative whiplash signaled deeper issues that go beyond one film's missteps. For many longtime fans of Disney remakes, the failure of Snow White might be a wake-up call, a sign that relying solely on nostalgia without preserving the heart of the original story is no longer enough to secure success. Whether the meltdown narrative will be embraced as a symbol of a troubled production or dismissed as sensational gossip remains to be seen, but it has certainly sparked a broader conversation about the future of live-action remakes in an era where creative vision and audience expectation often seem at odds.
More interested in messaging than magic. The confrontation between Jack Black and Rachel Zegler, real or exaggerated, became the symbol of everything that had gone wrong. A moment when someone inside the industry dared to ask the question fans had been screaming for months. What happened to the heart of the story? Where was the joy, the wonder, the timeless enchantment that once defined Disney? Rachel's defenders argued that she was being unfairly targeted, that young actresses, especially women of color, face harsher scrutiny. And there is truth in that. But even among her supporters, there was an acknowledgement that mistakes had been made, that perhaps, when faced with growing criticism, a little humility would have gone a long way. Instead, audiences felt dismissed. Their love for the original story was treated as outdated. Their desire for continuity was labeled as bigotry.
In the end, the saga of Snow White, replete with off-camera confrontations, runaway rumors, and a complete loss of narrative direction, serves as a microcosm for the challenges faced by modern filmmakers trying to breathe fresh life into cherished classics. The debate is not merely about one film's shortcomings, it's about the delicate balance of honoring beloved heritage while adapting stories to resonate with contemporary audiences. The alleged confrontation between Jack Black and Rachel Zegler, whether factual or a dramatically exaggerated symbol of behind-the-scenes chaos, encapsulates a broader cultural moment where authenticity is demanded and the stakes of creative expression have never been higher. As the public awaits definitive statements from the production team and key figures like Bob Iger or even Greta Gerwig, one thing remains clear. The future of Disney remakes may well depend on learning from the chaos that Snow White has become, a cautionary tale for an industry at the crossroads of art and commerce.